5, how much do you think Nigeria cares about your sexual and reproductive health?
0.
1.
Can I say -1? Am I allowed to say -1?
1. 1. 0. -5.
Because really, I don't see anything. I don't see any thing for women's sexual and reproductive rights. I think they just think that we're like incubators to give birth and that's it. They don't really care about how we're feeling, or there's nothing. I don't know any. I couldn't name anything that they do for us.
No, I can't think of any.
None.
Sexual and reproductive health. No, none come to mind.
I know that there are laws that protect women's interests. For example, women can't consent to procedures such as cesarean section, surgeries by themselves without the needs of their husbands. So that's one off the top of my head. I know there are laws against sexual harassment and rape. There are many, many practices. One is female genital mutilation. That's a very terrible practice that is very detrimental to women.
Is Nigeria not an anti-abortion country? Yeah, so I mean that's definitely infringing on my sexual health as far as I'm concerned. You know, you're worried about the wrong things.
FGM, child marriage.
Another is early marriage. That's very hurtful and harmful. Things like rape. Okay, well, those are common practices, I would say, and sex trafficking, etc.
Even child marriage in itself, when you think about the fact that people who are X-age are allowed to marry someone who is of not consenting age, that essentially like it bolsters rape culture.
Only recently, when did they change the rape laws for women? Just in 2015, right? Before that, a man couldn't rape his wife or partner. 2015, that's like less than 10 years ago.
Like our culture is very, very fertile ground for the infringement of women's sexual health.
Nigeria's relationship to sex is highly linked to rape culture because, one, Nigeria practices compulsory sexuality, even if we preach abstinence. So that means that in marriages, there's this idea that women aren't allowed to say no to their husbands because you are married to him and it is compulsory that you fulfill the desires of your husband.
I remember being told by a few of my family members, aunties, one particular story stood out to me. She said, you know, some women don't like sex. Well, you know, because my mum, she didn't like sex when she first married my dad, and my dad had to hold her down to have sex. And I was like, that is rape, you know? So there's so many instances, or they'd say, just lie there, don't show that you like it. Again, to me, that is rape.
There's also the idea that sex is something that men are entitled to, that once you give consent, you can't withdraw consent. And men are also not allowed to say that they were assaulted because they believe that sex is something that they must want per time, that they must enjoy, and they are not allowed to say no. So when a man is saying that he had X relationship with his house help or X relationship with some older person at the age of 10, they are more like patted on the back for it and they are like praised until they realize that actually that was assault and that was not okay. So a lot of the language around sex is blurred and there's very little definition on what enthusiastic consent is or what willing consent is or what coerced consent looks like, and that makes rape culture very normalized in Nigeria.
No, not at all. It's not conducive for anything. Not even talk of sex.
I don't think that Nigeria as a whole is a conducive environment to talk about, you know, sexual pleasure, sexual orientation, gender. But I feel like we create safe spaces. We are trying to create safe spaces ourselves, like, you know, this documentary, for example.
Sex is just tabooed in Nigeria, and that taboo has made almost everything impossible.
Which is culturally is just not the place. Like everything is shunned, everything is taboo. But then if you look underground, everybody is actually, this place is also the land of Sodom and Gomorrah. It's a crazy juxtaposition of, oh, we're not really into that, but at the same time, everybody is doing nonsense.
A lot of the things that are taught are centered around abstinence, and it is very heteronormative. There is a very strong culture of religious shame and cultural shame around embracing your sexuality and even normalizing a positive relationship to sex. And because of that, a lot of people that fall outside the norms, that are in groups outside the heteronormative umbrella, they have to figure it out themselves.
Nigeria is a terrible environment for good sexual health. Sexual health is beyond just saying, oh, I have this STI, or I had this STI, or I'm trying to get this STI cleared up. It's also about feeling safe and feeling respected. And in Nigeria, those things are like out the door. So yeah, no.
There's nothing around like building a healthy relationship with your body, what consent is. So I don't think that we are ready for that at all.
So my experience has been that there is a lot of work to be done. A lot of work to be done in many aspects.
In Nigeria, there's this issue of brain drain. So there's this issue of medical professionals leaving to go to other countries to practice for better remuneration, better recognition and all of that. Even for better equipment and things. Just better workspace, a saner workspace, a more cultured environment. Yes, so it leaves the people that are staying back or that have not had the opportunity to leave yet, it leaves them overwhelmed and absolutely drained. I'll tell you that has been my experience. I've been overwhelmed, I've been overworked.
And women are not listened to enough when it comes to healthcare. And allow me to sell our business. That's why WRTHY exists, to give women a space so that you'll be heard. And another thing is that women are oftentimes overlooked when it comes to healthcare. Women are busy taking care of their families, taking care of the homes, that they themselves don't have a chance to properly. You'll see a woman bringing her children when they're sick, but when she's sick, she'll be like, you know, she just abuses medication because she feels that she doesn't have the time nor the money to spend on such. So those are just two areas on top of my head that I think a lot of work has to be put into women's healthcare. Because the other problems that I can mention applies to everybody. Everybody's suffering it.
What would it be? I would give women free menstrual products.
Access to abortion care.
I mean, I'm already doing the work to change it, but just breaking the stereotype around sex being something shameful or just like policing women's bodies in general as well.
I think generally there just needs to be a better conversation around consent. There's just a lot to talk about where you need to make people understand, like, yes at this time is not yes 5 minutes from now. Stealthing is a form of rape. There's a long conversation to be had around consent.
Education, education, education. I believe everything boils down to education. When people are educated, they are liberated. When women are properly educated about their rights and they have information at the tip of their fingers, they would make better choices. So education, I think, is the answer.
I would want it to be studied more. I want there to be more focus on that. I want there to be more education for younger women, because a lot of women don't even prioritize like women's health. They just like live based on jaye.
I think sex ed in secondary schools, is very, very important. If the best way to educate people, reform people, is to start at the grassroots and when they are younger.
I think access to like comprehensive education on sexual health, beyond family planning.
I want women to own their sexuality and be in charge. I don't want women to wait until they're married to do family planning. It's like, nah, if you're sexually active, be as curious about your body as as the next man, and do things without shame or without these things are normal. It's just sex. It's nothing new.
No matter how high up I am or how much I'm able to influence things in the area of policies, if young women and girls don't know what they're meant to have or what they're not meant to have, they're not going to get it. So I think the way to empower women and to help with these things is to educate them.
I feel like if we all grew up knowing better, maybe we wouldn't be this way. If I grew up knowing better and like from when I was younger, maybe my first time I would have made sure that I used protection. Although, I mean, I did that after, but just things like that. If sex ed was a thing from when you're really, really young, I think it would be a better thing, and there would be way less shame around talking around sex.
It's really important because sex is pleasurable. Please, so many women are spending their whole lives without enjoying sex, hating sex, seeing sex as something taboo. They've never had an orgasm, but I mean, they have like 5 children. It's not good. No, I'm serious. It's so not fair. You know, how come it's only men that get to enjoy sex? No, let women, you know, understand that sexual pleasure is our birthright.